this is, I think, my favorite chart that I've seen all year. So bear with me. It shows an interesting pattern that I think will continue to repeat. These are the four major regions of stock markets. The EM is the blue, the S&P 500 is the orange, the Nikkei is the purple, and Euro stocks are the green. Now, let's go back to the 1980s. What was the world beater in the 1980s? Japan. Japan was invincible. Japan was going to take over the world. They had a massive export economy going on, and their stock market was by far the best. And then the recession came in the early 90s, and it completely kneecapped Japan's stock market. And take a look at that pinkish line. It's never been back again. So once the mighty fall and the recession takes them out, in the case of Japan in the late 80s, early 90s, they've never made it back again. Negative price performance of significance on the Nikkei. Then let's look at the 1999 into the early 00s, the dot-com bust. There, Europe was very strong. Maybe it was optimism about the success of the Eurozone. The euro had just rolled out. Again, I think that's false optimism. Obviously, there are tremendous tensions in the Eurozone. If you had the ability to transport somebody from 1999 European mentality into today, I'm sure they would be absolutely horrified by what they're seeing, because the change happens gradually, right? It's the old metaphor of the boil the frog in the pot by turning the water up slowly. Don't turn it up too quickly, or else the frog will jump out. So Europe had their day in the sun there, and then it got taken out by the early 2000s recession, and it's never been back again. Here it is, 20 years later, still not back again. Then we take a look at EM, which was all the rage. Going into the global financial crisis, they were crushing everybody. This is going to be the century of emerging markets. This kind of things you heard. And then the Great Recession came, complete collapse of the emerging market index, by far the worst performer, and it's never made it back again. Now, it's only been 10, 12 years, and it's come somewhat close, but it hasn't made it, even though it's by far the cheapest section of the world stock market. And then we see the last man standing, the S&P 500, which has absolutely destroyed every other stock market, partly because earnings in the United States have been much better in terms of growth than anywhere else in the world, due in part to actual true earnings, and also due in part to financial engineering, and also due in part to the Trump administration's generous corporate tax cut, which has made our national debt problem so much worse, and we'll get to that in a moment. My suspicion is that when the next recession comes, the US is going to get taken out. And I'll bet it will be a long time before it goes back